This is lesson 7-5, adding mixed numbers. Our essential question, how can you find the sum of mixed numbers? There's no vocab for this lesson. Okay, example number 1. So when we have mixed numbers, it's pretty much the same thing as when we were working with just regular fractions. We have to get common denominators. In order to get common denominators, we first list the common multiples. So our denominators are 2 and 3. So we list out the multiples of 2 and 3. So we'll do the 2's first. And I'm going to stop at 6 because I know when I do my 3's, I'm going to get 2, 6. So my least common denominator is 6. And it's the same thing as when I was working with regular fractions. I have to now get those denominators to be 6. So I'm going to take my first mixed number, 5.5, and I have to get the 2 from my denominator to be a 6. So I know when I multiply 2 times 3, I get 6. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. 1 times 3 equals 3. And I just keep my whole number the same. So I'm going to rewrite it over here. 5, that's my whole number that I circled. And here's my fraction part that I just changed. And 3/6. So I can cross that out because now I just changed 5 1/2 to 5 3/6. Because remember, I have to get 6 as my denominator. Now I'm going to do my second mixed number. 9 2/3. I have to do the same thing. I still have to get a 6 on the bottom. 6 is my denominator. I know if I multiply 3 times 2, it'll give me 6. So I have to do the same thing to the numerator. 2 times 2 is 4. And I still keep my whole number. So now I have 9 4/6. And that replaces 9 2/3. So here is my new problem that I'm working with. All I did was find a common denominator and change the denominators, so now I'm able to add. So what I do is I add my whole numbers. So 5 plus 9 is 14. Then I add my numerators. 3 plus 4 is 7. And remember your denominator, now that they're the same, we just keep it the same as 6. So 14 7/6. But this part right here is an improper fraction. And I don't want it as an improper fraction. 7/6. It has the bigger number on top as the numerator. I don't want that. I need to change it to a mixed number. So think back to topic 6 when we did improper fractions to mixed numbers. And what we did was we divided. So 7 divided by 6. Remember, your numerator always goes inside. 6 goes into 7 one time with 1 left over. Now remember, to make that into a mixed number, we would have this as the whole number. This is my numerator. And my denominator stays the same. So I just changed 7/6 to 1 1/6. And what I do is just add that to my whole number. So again, I add my whole numbers. I'm going to actually rewrite it so it doesn't look so messy. So I have 14 plus 1 1/6. So I add my whole numbers. 14 plus 1 is 15. And I just keep my fraction because I don't have anything to add to it. So it's just 1/6. So my answer is 15 1/6. Okay, example number 2. Ronald picked 15 5/8 pounds of oranges and 17 5/8 pounds of lemons. How many pounds of oranges and lemons did he pick in all? And there's my key word, in all. Tells me I'm going to have to add those two numbers. So I have 15 5/8 plus 17 5/8. Now luckily in this problem, I already have common denominators. They're both 8, so I don't even have to change those. I can now just go ahead and add. First thing I add is my whole numbers. 15 plus 17 is 32. And then I add my numerators. 5 plus 5 is 10. And remember, those denominators stay the same. So it's 8. Again, I have the same problem that I had in example number 1. I have an improper fraction right here, 10/8. So I'm going to divide to get rid of that. 10 divided by 8. 8 goes into 10 one time with 2 left over. Now I can rewrite 10/8. I'm going to cross it out as a mixed number. Here's my whole number. Here's my numerator. Here's my denominator. And now I can just add that to the whole number. So I have 32 plus 1 is 33. And then the fraction part just stays the same. 2/8. But I have one last step. I know 2 and 8 can both be divided by 2. I have to simplify. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my answer is 33 1/4. Example number 3. We have to get a common denominator. So let's list those multiples of those two denominators. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And I'm going to stop there and do the 7. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. And I just found my common denominator, 35. So now I have to change both of these denominators to 35. So let's start with the first mixed number. 6 4/5. I have to get it to 35 on the bottom. I know 5 times 7 is 35. So I have to do the same thing to the top. 4 times 7 is 28. And remember, you just keep the whole number. So I just changed 6 4/5 to 6 28/35. All right, let's do the second mixed number, 8 6/7. I have to also get that one to 35 as the denominator. I know 7 times 5 is 35. So I have to do 6 times 5 is 30. So I combine my new fraction with my whole number. So now I have 6 28/35 plus 8 30/35. And now I can add. I do 6 plus 8, which is 14. Add my numerators, 28 plus 30 is 58. And I keep my denominator, 35. Again, I have a mixed number, so I have to change that by dividing 58 divided by 38, or sorry, 35. Let me erase that. All right, 35 goes into 58 one time. So here is my mixed number. I just am changing this improper fraction to a mixed number. Now I have 1 and 23/35. Add that to my whole number over here. So 14 plus 1 is 15. And then I just keep my fraction part, 23/35. So 15 and 23/35 is the answer. Okay, last one. I know there's a lot of work involved in these. So we have 5 and 2 as our denominators. So let's find our common multiple. 5, 10. I'm going to stop there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we have 10 as our common denominator. So let's go ahead and change these. I'm going to start with 2 3/5. I have to get to 10 as my denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 2 because I know 5 times 2 equals 10. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 3 times 2 is 6. So now I have 2 6/10. Then I'm going to do my second one, 4 1/2. I also have to get it to 10 as my denominator. I know that 2 times 5 is 10. So I have to multiply 1 times 5, which is 5. So then I get 4 5/10. Then I add my whole numbers. 2 plus 4 is 6. I add my numerators. 6 plus 5 is 11. And denominator stays the same as 10. I have to change this to a mixed number. So I do 11 divided by 10. 10 goes into 11 one time with 1 left over. So I can cross that out because now I'm changing it to a mixed number. So I'm going to bring this 6 down over here, plus I have 1 as my whole number, 1 as my numerator, and 10 as my denominator. Now I add my whole number. 6 plus 1 is 7, and keep the fraction. 7 1/10. Okay, here are 3 practice problems. You have to get common denominators, then add the whole numbers, add the numerators, keep the denominator the same. And then if necessary, you have to change any improper fractions to mixed numbers and add those to your whole number. Don't forget a word problem or a question, and rate your understanding.